What's up, everybody? Welcome to a safety meeting gameplay series. Today we are continuing our survival in Rising World. There's our little buddy Moose over there. I'm so glad to see that they're all still hanging around. Alright, so this is what we've got going on. The last episode we ended with us at a pretty good-sized cave system, but that system ended up really pretty much being a bust. There wasn't a whole heck of a lot in there. It was mostly just a bunch of really scary shafts going straight up and down, and I felt like I was probably just going to end up dying in there, and I was super far away from home, and so I decided not to risk it. I had a full inventory anyway, so I just beelined home. I had my compass and just headed home. And so there really wasn't a whole lot for me to do on the way back because I couldn't even gather resources. So what I did was I just came home and I got myself a little bit organized. I've got building stuff over here, and this is the cool thing about the chests in Rising World. It's got pages, so if you go over to page 2, you can actually divide your stuff up a little bit. So I decided to put food over on this side. This is going to be wood, which definitely looks like I need to gather some more logs here. I got a few more in my inventory. I was just doing that a couple of minutes ago. I just finished chopping some trees. But that's what I did. So I haven't done a whole heck of a lot of anything. I did move my benches. They were over here, and I decided since we're gonna have a roof shortly, that we might as well just go ahead and bring them on in. So that brings us to our next thing, our roof. That's what we're going to do today. And I think I have an idea of something that's going to look halfway decent. And it's going to be a little bit of an accent of the red trim that we've got here and a dark beam that I've already got picked out. So I think that's what we're going to do for right now. Another thing that I want to do, I kind of concentrated on this a little bit when I was out exploring, getting some of the ores and stuff like that, is a tier 2 crafting table. And what that does for us, here, let's go over here real fast. Let's go under crafting stations. Here's the tier 2. It's considered a modern workbench, but really all it does is it gives you a whole bunch of lights. It gives you tungsten lights, so that's what tungsten is really useful for in the game. And what it does for you is it gives you a nice clean white light. So if you're down in the caves and stuff like that and you're mining, it's actually more handy than putting up torches and stuff like that, is to actually just put up the tungsten lights. I know right now, because of the early access game, it's kind of cheating a little bit because technically we're supposed to have power attached to those, but since we don't have power, I'm taking advantage. So I think probably the best place to start right now, let me see if I have, okay, yeah, I'm running low on lumber. So I've got the wood on me, so let's make some lumber real fast. And I have an idea of what I want to do for the roof, but I'm not sure what it's going to look like just yet. So let's get us some new resources. We're just going to make a bunch, because we're going to end up using it anyway. Alright, so we got that. Let's go over to the beams. Alright, so what I want to do is grab, I think that's the red, yeah, 71. I think that's what we used for the door jambs and the window trim and stuff like that. I hope so, because that's what I'm making. So I think probably 6 of those should be fine. My favorite one, oop, I must have passed it already. This one, that's what I want to make the roof beams out of. I kind of have an idea of what might look nice, so we're gonna try it. I'm gonna make a bunch of these just because I tend to screw up a lot. Yeah, let's make 15 of them. All right, now we also get to play with our scaffolding today. I went ahead and I made some ahead of time just so we had it, because I wasn't sure if I was gonna have enough lumber or not. Actually, I'm gonna keep my canteen right there, because I gotta remember to drink. Actually, let's go fill this thing up real fast. Man, the lighting in here is killing me today. I know if you here's a little trick that you can do. Since we're kind of doing a survival / tutorial series now, let's go into our console. We'll hit the tilde key to go into our console, and we're gonna go into game mode 1. So we're cheating right now, but if you go into game mode 1, that puts you into creative. Hit F10, and now it says chunk borders have been fixed. So it just got rid of all that crazy lighting. It doesn't work for the entire map or anything like that. Like you can see, there's still a little bit of a excuse me, still a little bit of a border right there. But if you're in a spot consistently that does that, it's nice just so you're not seeing that anymore. And then you just go back into your console, game mode 0, and now we're back in survival. So we're not cheaters anymore. All right, so let's go fill this thing up real quick. Maybe? Maybe. There we go. Alright, we got that full, and I should have some apples, I believe, with me. Yes, let's go to... We're going to go to sleep, and I want to go to sleep on a full belly. Alright, there we go. So let's go to bed. Oh, my little sapling is starting to grow. Cool. Alright, I'll see you in the morning. We'll start doing some building. Alright, rise and shine. Mr. Moose is over there waiting for us so he can see our badass roof here. We have all of our materials. Let's place our scaffolding. Now the scaffolding, I made 4 of them. I think that should be enough to get us all the way across here. We're going to do scaffolding on this side, and we'll kind of cheat in a ladder on the other side, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So this is the one that's got our ramp. So we're just going to use the arrow keys to rotate that around. Right mouse click to slap it down, and this is the nice thing about the scaffolding is they just snap together. All you got to do is just touch the first one and your second one will snap right to it. Now if we can get around all of this stuff. I got too many obstacles in my way here apparently. Okay, so first thing I want to do is take that red beam, and this is just going to be a little accent piece. This is just purely decorative. We're probably going to be getting a little bit more high-tech than what we need for this little cabin in the woods, but that's alright. High-tech is okay. Alright, so we've got our red beam. What I want to do is just lay it horizontally, so if we hit our down arrow key, that's going to put it the direction we want it. Now, I know for those of you that know how to do this, it's probably going to drive you nuts because I'm probably going to be given audio commands of what I'm doing as far as which keys I'm hitting and stuff. So I apologize to those of you that know what you're doing. But since this particular survival series is kind of geared towards people that haven't played the game before, I'm going to try to keep track of what I'm doing here. So what I want to do is kind of sink this board into the blocks, and in order to do that, I'm going to hit right control, and that freezes that board in place now. So now I can actually get up and walk around and see exactly where that thing is. So all I want is to sink this in using my arrow keys. So left arrow key, left and right, that makes it go left and right. Forward pushes it away, down pulls it towards you. And you can do this with anything that you pull out of the saw bench, any of the construction items. And for this, we don't want much of an overhang, probably just about that far, and that's it. This is just going to be a little colored accent, and that's really about it. So let's go back up here so we can see what the heck we're doing, now that I got it in the spot that I want. Let's, can we make this longer? Yes, shift and up arrow will actually lengthen it. Alright, there we go. So we'll just drop that probably right there. Right mouse button to put it in place. Alright, so we've got 2 different options of how we can move this. We actually have a ghosted beam inside of this one right now, and to show you what I mean, if I hit the right arrow key, there's our next beam. It doesn't actually put it anywhere. It keeps it in place so you can line everything up perfectly again. So you can use your right arrow key and slide this all the way over, but we don't actually really need to do that right now. So what I'm going to do is unfreeze this by hitting the right control, and it gives us our beam back. So now I just want to put my cursor on the face of the, I guess that would be considered the edge face of this beam, and hit enter. And now it just locks it right into there. So now if I hit control, I can freeze it. And that way I can double check that we weren't hanging over the edge or anything weird like that. So we hit right mouse, places it, control to unfreeze, and now we can place the next one. So this one should be overhanging. So all we want to do for this is shift and down arrow key. Now you can see that we're losing some length, but we're losing it from both ends, that side and that side. So you have to pay attention to that. So we'll take a little bit of the length off. The other thing that you can do too is you can actually, if it was overhanging a whole bunch, you could actually just go left arrow key and bury it into the other beam. And so that's a nice quick way of doing it too. Now it looks like we got about the same overhang, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop it right there. Now, this is where my OCD comes in. I like to have everything perfect, so this beam, I want the exact same level as over here. Now, this is how I do this kind of stuff. Now, I always say that I am by no means any kind of an expert at this game. I don't really have any method to my building. This is just kind of how I learned how to build. So there's probably many easier ways of doing it. So if you know of any easier ways, definitely let me know in the comments. I'm always up for shortcuts and things like that. But this is what I do for this situation. Now, we still have our ghosted log inside of here. So let's zoom in on that a little bit. Right arrow key. So here's our beam now. Now I can right arrow key this all the way over, but that's going to take us like 2 full minutes just to drive it over to the other side of the house. So what we're going to do is actually change the movement position. We want to set P, which is setting the position, set P to 50. Now hit enter, you can see we just position precision set to 50. So what that's going to do for us, now if I hit the right arrow key, see how much faster that's moving over now? And we can, I don't even know actually how high of a number you can go up to. 50 is really the highest that I've ever actually needed. So now we can put this in the exact same level that our other beam was at. And well, this just so happens to fit exactly where I want it. But just to give you a quick example, if it didn't line up exactly how I did want it, let's do set P and we'll do 1. So now what we do, let's go and zoom in. If I do left arrow key, now you can see each keystroke is only going a tiny little bit. And if we hold left key down, look how much detail we have now, or how much control over that one plank. So we're just going to pop it out. About right here, probably will look good. Put it in place, and we're just going to go around. Actually, I forgot to lengthen that one. Oh well. Let's unfreeze it. So I can get another one in there. Where's my wood beams? Really? I didn't make enough? Alright, hold on. That's why I usually just make a whole bunch more than what I knew I was going to need. I think I did 71. Yeah. Alright, let's do that again. Now that one is probably going to overhang, so control to freeze it. And left arrow key. Whoop. So now we're still on the set P1. Now I'm pretty sure that it defaults at 10. Now what you can do is instead of putting in a number, you can actually just do set P to default. It's going to set it. Okay, so 10 is the default. So now if we do the arrow key, it's moving it a lot quicker for us. And I think we just got a little overhang again. Yeah, just a tiny one. Alright, so that's the little bit of trim work that I wanted. We're not even going to put one here because the roof is going to be slanted this direction. So we actually wouldn't even see it right there. So let's get up here now and get our first angled piece in. Now, let's grab our dark beam. And let's see, we're going to keep it, let's go one size bigger than what we did with that red beam. Let's go shift and right arrow. And that just changed the thickness of our entire beam. And let's go shift up arrow to make sure that we're the full length. Now we want to rotate. Now our default rotation, we're set to 15-degree increments. And you can do the same thing. You can go into your console, and instead of set position, you can do set R. So right now, if I hit the down arrow, that was 15 degrees. There's 30 degrees. And that's the angle that we're going to do our roof. But just say for argument's sake here, we're back at horizontal. Let's say we wanted to have a roof that was at 18 degrees. So you'd go 15 degrees and then come up to set R, and we're going to set the radius to just 1. Now, if we want it to 17 degrees, we know it's at 15 right now, so we go 1, 2. So now we know that we're at 17 degrees. So you can be pretty precise with everything that you do with these beams. Now, if you start to lose track, you can do the same thing. You go set R default, and I'm pretty sure it's 15, but this will let us know for sure. Okay, so 15 degrees is the default. Now, I have no idea what degrees that's at right now, so if you want to reset your beam, you just hit backspace, and it resets everything back to how it originally was. So let's hit down arrow key. Let's get that so it's horizontal again, and then 1, 2, 15 degree for the roof. All right, so now what we got to do is get this beam in place exactly where we want it. So let's go ahead and do the control and freeze it into position. And we're just going to move. I'm not exactly sure where we're going to put this just yet. I'm just kind of messing around here. Now we do page up and page down to actually move our beam up and down. Now what I want to do is kind of join these two boards together. So let's zoom in. I just want to center them. We don't need to have them perfect, just so as long as it's close. That's probably about, let's do more of a, whoops, wrong way. Let's do more of an overhang. So let's go down and, yeah, let's do that. I think I took it way off center though. Yes, I did. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and put it right there. And I'm gonna do the same thing, just so I know that our roof is lined up perfect. I'm gonna do the exact same thing that I did with those decorative strips right here. We have that ghost beam inside of there. So let's go ahead and just do set P to 50 and move it on over to the other side. Now we know that our roof is going to line up perfect from side to side when we lay our planks down. So let's just get ourselves lined up to center, and bam, we are good to go. All right, let's go over here, back up onto our scaffolding, and all right, so what I'm going to do here, we're going to have like I'm just going to call this our sacrificial beam here, because I'm going to be getting rid of this. Let's get ourselves back to straight up and down. I think this is about center. I'm just kind of eyeballing it in between those windows on the other side of the wall there. Okay, so I just want that to help me mark out center a little bit. Like I said, I'm not getting terribly high-tech with this thing. Now we just want to continue this, whoops, wrong button. Still a little bit too long. So let's shorten it to, yeah, probably right about there. So let's right-click it, and bam, we are good to go. Now we know that that length is exactly where we need it, so let's go ahead and come over here. And this is where our ladder is going to come in handy. We don't actually need any scaffolding going up this side right now. We just want to pop up on top of our ladder here and grab our beam again. It should be already set to the right length that we just had, hopefully. So that side should match up perfect with that side. Should being the key word here. So let's go ahead and go to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. No, I don't need this one here. This is why it was our sacrificial beam, so we don't need it anymore. So I'm just going to spend a minute and get both sides matching here, and I will be right back. All right, let's see if these things look like they're even close to lining up at all here. Let's go up and Check the centers. Okay, that doesn't look too bad, I suppose. You can tell that it's a little bit off, but not terrible. We're going to hide that with a beam, so that's okay if it's off. So here's what I want to do for that. Now, I was contemplating on using another red beam, but I think that'd be too much random color, so I don't want to do that. Let's get our beam. Let's see, we want it going that way. And we also, there we go. We want to shift and right arrow. Let's see. I think we're going to do two beams side by side. So let's put this one, we're just going to freeze it right there for right now. Now I want a little bit of an overhang because I plan on hanging a light from this. So let's get it, let's see here. There we go. Let's get our... There we go. Much better. I was still set to 50. So let's get that one right there. Get an overhang about like that. Now we're just going to unfreeze it. Now this one we're going to try to snap it to this face here by hitting enter. Ugh, those are terrible in the way that they line up. Here, let me, let's do this. Can I freeze you? Yes. Alright. There we go. I guess that'll work. I'll take it. Okay, now this one we're going to have to pay attention to because we don't want it too long. But we want to do the same thing and have a little bit of an overhang so we can put a light on it. There, let's try that. Oh, am I out of wood? Ah, jeez. I needed one more stinking piece. Every time that happens. I don't remember the number. There we go. 67. Okay, where the heck am I here? I hope it's still the same size. No, it's not. Arg! Why weren't you the same size still? Alright, there we go. So there is the start of our roof. Here, let's back away a little bit and see. Hey, Moose, you come over here, Moose. Come see my roof. What you think? Okay, so here's what my plan is. I know it looks a little goofy right now because we don't have any planks in here, but I think it's going to end up looking halfway decent when we're done. Because what my plan is, we got a 30-degree angle here. I want to go off maybe on about a 10 or a 12-degree angle for a roof, just coming off like right here, just a real shallow angle, and then have some posts coming down to a nice deck, like a nice wooden deck right here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm going to do color-wise for the planks, but we're going to have planks going all the way across, and then I'm also going to do planks coming this way, kind of for the roof siding, and maybe put in a little attic window type of a thing for a little ventilation. But I think probably in the interior side, we'll have maybe another beam coming from here to here or something. I don't know. We're going to do something to make it look kind of a rustic lodge type of a thing. I don't know. But I think that's a pretty decent start to the house. I think I'm going to like the looks of that. I hope. So, yeah, I think that's going to be okay. So I think let's go ahead and wrap it up right here. I can't even walk up the scaffolding anymore. Let's go ahead and wrap it up right here. And I'm going to try to think of what color I want to use for all of this stuff now, because I'm not exactly sure. We're probably going to play around with a bunch of different stuff. I'll show you a couple of different ways that we can put the roof on there. So I'm looking forward to that. But for right now, let's get the heck out of here. Looks like the moose is thinking the same thing. He just flat out disappeared. So we'll call it good for right now. I hope you learned something. And again, I apologize for all the detail that I'm getting into, but from what I'm reading in the comments and everything, it seems like people are appreciating it and actually learning something. So that's kind of the whole purpose of this, was for doing some learning. So I'm glad everybody is sticking with me and enjoying the series. I really appreciate that. So, all right, what are we gonna do next time? Oh, the tier 1 table. I have all the stuff that we need for not the tier 1, the tier 2 table. So I have all the stuff for that. So I think what we'll do is we'll finish out the roof and at least get the overhead part done, and then we'll get that table going and we'll get some cool lighting in here. So that'll be perfect for next episode. We can get tons done then. So, all right. As always, I appreciate everybody for watching, and if you enjoyed the episode and if you learned something from the episode, please leave me a like. I appreciate those as well. And I will see you guys real soon for another survival/tutorial of Rising World.